Stop calling me. Hello, everybody. Hi out there. My name is Carlotta Wade, and we are so excited that you are here with us. This is our 9th annual No Excuse for Dating Abuse Teen Summit. When I first had the idea to begin this summit, I had no idea how it was going to take off. Over the last 9 years, we have had over 3,500 teens and families join us and share in the information that we received. However, because of COVID, this is our second year going virtual, but don't worry, we have our panelists, we have a couple of entertainers for you, and we're going to still be able to provide the information for you again tonight. However, before we start, I would like to bring up a young lady by the name of Aaliyah Thomas from the Victim Service Coordinator's Community Service Department. She is going to tell you a little bit about who she is and what she's going to be available for tonight. Thank you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Aaliyah Thomas, and I am a homeless and domestic violence specialist with Community Crisis Services Incorporated. I am so pleased to be here with you all today to discuss some important topics about dating safety. At CCSI, we do provide a wide range of services, including counseling, our safe house shelter, abuser intervention and anger management programs, intimate partner violence and human trafficking intervention, as well as our Survivor Initiative program. We also have a live chat that is available from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. daily that is accessible on our website at communitycrisis.org. All of our services are available to every victim, meaning male and female. So if you do want to get some more information about all the programs that we offer, you can call our hotline directly at 301-731-1203. During this summit, I will be here and available in case anyone may feel triggered by the things that we will be discussing this evening, or if you would just like to speak with me one-on-one about your experiences. Anything shared with me will be kept confidential as well. I am available directly by phone at 240-898-1652, or you can contact our hotline, which is 24 hours a day at 301-731-1203. Please feel free to reach out.
Hi, everyone. My name is Deja Perez. I'm with 93.9 WKYS and Magic 102.3. And of course, I'm blessed to have my co-host back again. Hey, Jason, tell everyone about yourself.
Hey, what's going on? First of all, it's good to see you. Last time I saw you, I had braces all in my mouth, so they all gone.
You fancy now.
Hey, everybody. My name is Jason Lyric, and I am an artist, a local artist, independent artist, and but I'm also a community activist by trade. I'm an assistant principal of a high school, so I'm just excited to be here and just to be a face for a lot of people who need to get this information. So I'm glad to be back.
And we're glad to have you. So before we get into the video that I want to show for you guys real quick, I know Aaliyah just went over this, but it's really, really important that I give you all of these numbers and information, because some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight could be considered triggering for you. And, no matter what happens, I want you to have a resource. Okay. So Aaliyah's direct number is 240-898-1652. She, of course, is our victim services coordinator. But if you want to chat your questions to us, all you have to do is text Teen Summit 685 to 22333. Then you can remain anonymous. I promise, no matter what your question is, I'm not even going to know who you are. But I want to get you an answer. So I wanted to, again, text Teen Summit 685 to 22333. All right. So we have an exciting evening planned for you guys tonight. So before we get started, we got to do things right. So let's have JoJo sing Lift Every Voice. Take it away, JoJo.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the mighty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died, yet with a steady beat have not our weary feet come to the place for which our Father sighed. We have come over a way that with tears has been watered. We have come treading the path of the blood of the slaughtered. Out from the gloomy past till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast.
Wow, yo, Jojo, that was beautiful, and I love that you sang the next verse too. That was just beautiful. I mean, it made me feel proud. So I'm so glad you did that, and thank you for that. Now we are going to have some remarks from the county executive, Angela Also Brooks.
Hello, Prince Georgians. It's an honor to welcome you to the 9th annual No Excuse for Dating Abuse Teen Summit. For the past 9 years, this important event has been a place to make sure all of you understand your value and worth. And this year, we're bringing that same positive message to you once again. You deserve to love yourself, and people who love you should treat you right. As you know, Valentine's Day is coming up soon. But all February long, it's also Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. If your partner hurts you, physically or verbally, they're not worth your time. Sometimes, early in our dating lives, it can be hard to figure out our expectations. How should we expect to be treated? How should we deal with disagreements? How do we know if our relationship is healthy? When we love ourselves, the answer to these questions are obvious. Our partners should treat us with respect. They should make us feel comfortable and safe even during a disagreement. They should always build us up and never tear us down. Most of all, in a healthy relationship, our partner should not hurt us. It is never okay for a partner to inflict harm or abuse. Right here today, we want to give you the tools to value positive relationships and to avoid unhealthy ones. The expectations you set in your relationships now will shape how you view relationships in the future. That's why it's important to know your worth and to make sure the relationships you're forming early on are healthy. We want you to think of this summit as a kind of map. The work we do today to educate each other about positive, constructive relationships will guide you in the years and decades to come. This summit will be filled with examples of healthy relationships and stories of unhealthy ones. Each story is a lesson all its own. But underneath everything you learn, remember to love yourself and say it out loud. Remember that you deserve respect. Remember that abuse is always wrong, and there is no such thing as a healthy relationship which includes abuse. No matter who you are or where you're from, you deserve to be treated well with kindness and love. Today, let's work hard to draw a positive, love-filled map, one that leads each of us to healthy, abuse-free relationships that work for us and for our partners. Dating should be safe and it should be fun. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this summit, and I'm so grateful to have so many young people here interested in learning more about healthy relationships. Thank you, and again, welcome to the 9th annual No Excuse for Dating Abuse Teen Summit.
Wow.
Thank you, County Executive. So let's get started. So before we get into this, we have some really dope panelists for you tonight, and I wanted to introduce them one by one, and I also wanted them to give a little brief introduction on who they are. So let's start with Aisha Sise, who we're so glad to have back from last year. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. My name is Aisha Sise, and I am a junior at high school right now. And I'm really excited to give my input on whatever it is you guys want me to say.
What high school are you going to?
I go to Parkdale High School.
Nice. All right. Thank you again for joining us last year and this year as well. Next up, we've got Sky. Welcome to the panel. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how are you guys?
So well. Can you tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a teen panelist here today. I'm a senior at Largo High School, and I'm just so glad to be invited here. Thank you so much.
We are so happy to have you. So I am a little confused. Am I supposed to have the other 3 panelists? Are they going to be actual panelists, or are they just here for? Not sure. Okay. So we'll move. No. Okay. Got it. Moving right along. All right. So bear with me, guys. We normally do this in person. It is so much better when we do it in person.
Yes.
But, COVID is a thing. So we're going to go ahead and get started. All right. Let me introduce Travis Thomas. He's part of our crisis response system. Hi, Travis.
What's up, y'all? Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us. Can you give everyone a little bit of info about you?
Yes, ma'am. So I'm not a high schooler. I've graduated.
You grown.
I am actually a member of PG County Mobile Crisis Transitional Age Youth Program. So we serve teenagers to young adults ages 16 to 21 in mental health dilemmas or situations where they might need an extra support to come out and, be a lending ear, a helping hand. So.
Dope. Well, thank you for taking the time out tonight to help us with this. And last but most certainly not least would be Brianna Griffin. Thank you for joining us. Maybe. You got to go with the flow because things don't always happen when you want them to. Hi, Brianna. Are you muted? I think your mic is muted, darling.
I'm gonna work on this. We're gonna get better. Okay.
We're gonna get it together. Okay. It's all good. Okay. Can you tell everyone about yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name's Brianna. I am also with Affiliated Sante Group with PG Crisis. I am the transitional age youth therapist on staff. So I am super excited and thankful to be invited here to be a part of this panel this evening.
Well, we are so excited to have you guys. Thank you all so much for joining us. So I'd like to go into slides 1 through 4. Again, some of the stuff we're going to talk about tonight is going to be triggering. We have put up a couple things for you guys in case you are triggered. And you can always contact the 24-hour domestic violence hotline at 301-731-1203. You can contact our victim services coordinator, Aaliyah, directly at 240-898-1652. Of course, the DD chat line is always available at ccsimd.org. But tonight, if you are texting, you need to text Teen Summit 3. Don't judge me. I had it here a second ago. Teen Summit 685 to 22333. That way, you guys can stay anonymous. If you have questions, if you have concerns or something you want to talk about, I want to get your questions answered, and that way you can stay anonymous, and I can just get you an answer. Okay. So let's get into slide number 1. So we're going to go through, eventually, we've got 9 total signs that you're in a toxic relationship, okay? Oops. So bear with me because we have one more person that needs to join. Do not judge me, y'all. Last but of course, certainly not least, would be our attorney, Nicole. Welcome to the panel, Nicole.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you.
Can you tell everyone a little bit about what you do, Nicole? So sorry about that.
No problem. I'm an assistant state's attorney for the state's attorney's office for Prince George's County. I'm an assistant state's attorney in the Special Victims and Family Violent Unit. And so I'm so happy here today and to provide any type of answers for you all.
And I appreciate you so much. Okay, now let's get into it. So there are 9 total signs that you're in a toxic relationship. We're not going to give you all 9 up front because I don't want to kill you with the info, but we're going to start with the first 3. Okay, and we're going to take them one by one. All right, so first, of course, is they always bring up your past and judge you for it. Let's get into Aisha. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I definitely feel like when you're in a relationship, it's about being able to move forward with someone and, you know, be able to like have a steady foundation. And when you're with someone who always brings up the past you have to remember that that is the standard in which they hold you always. Like they always remember who you were prior to who you are now. So I feel like you really need to take the time to think about yourself and think about who you are now as a person and what you deserve, because people do change. That's my belief. So I feel like, you know, if you are in a position where you think you don't need to be compared to who you were 2 years ago, then that definitely should be brought up and made aware.
All right, Sky, what are your thoughts on them always bringing up your past and judging you for it?
I think we as people, we just naturally grow up. You know, you grow, you change, and you learn. And so somebody that's holding you to that standard of what you used to be prevents you from growing and holds you back. So it's toxic.
Okay. Travis, have you experienced, I know you deal with some of the mental health capacity. Have you dealt with some people that have had this in their experience?
Oh, I would say most definitely, because we all make mistakes. We all do things along our journey that we have the opportunity to change from. We have the opportunity to start anew. Every new day you take a breath is another day that you can start a new journey, that you can change something that wasn't, you know, that was from the day before. You know, you have the opportunity to do that. And in a relationship, the other person should respect your wants and wishes is for the things that you do want to change. And they should also, you know, be willing to allow you to become the person that you want to become. So
very true, very true. All right, so before we get into slide number, or the second one, I just want to remind you, like, you are not the same person that you were 5 minutes ago or last year. So it's important in a relationship to let people know your past to an extent, right? But it is not okay for the person to use your past against you and judge you by that today, because we're all evolving, we're all growing, and things like that change. So, you know, just putting that out there. All right.
Hey, Deja, real quick too, I want to just add, that's also a form of control. So when they want to, you know, use your past against you, they're really trying to control you and almost say, hey, listen, you're no good, but I'll deal with you, but nobody else will. So it's definitely a form of control. So That's why all of those things are so toxic.
Absolutely. All right, so let's get into the second one. And before I do that, I want to remind you guys that you can text your comments text Teen Summit 685 to 22333 in order to join. That way you can put your comments in there. You'll completely be anonymous, okay? The second sign that you're in a toxic relationship is they are controlling and won't let you be yourself, which literally Jason just touched on. So let's get into Brianna. Let's talk about that a little bit.
So like definitely going off of what Jason said, like this idea of like not letting you grow, this idea of keeping you stagnated. When you're in a relationship with somebody, you want to see them elevate. And obviously, if you're not willing to help elevate that other person, that it's the toxicity. It breeds toxicity.
Ooh, that part. Yes. Nicole, I'm sure that considering the work that you do, that you've seen many a person that has been in a controlling situation. What's some advice that you give to people that find themselves in that situation?
I usually tell victims that come in to say, like, just think about yourself. Think how you want your family members to be treated. If you don't want them to be treated the way that you're being treated, you got to take control over your life and your destiny. So I always remind them that people are looking up to you. You have either a sibling or you have someone in school that's looking up to you, and you have to make sure that you're controlling the destiny that God put into you. So I always tell them just to think about that and don't let anyone say you can't do something, because you always can do something. And being in a relationship should not end what God has put in your life to do.
All right. So, Sky, from a senior perspective, senior in high school perspective, what is something that looks controlling to you in a relationship?
Personally, I have a lot of friends that are on social media right now. So somebody controlling what you post, what you say on social media, controlling what you wear, controlling anything, what you say. It's all controlling, because you as yourself, you're an individual. You have your own brain, and nobody else should be able to control what you do with your brain.
And so I know we've talked about this in the past, but there's a fine line between caring and concern versus control, right? So there are some things where someone's like, hey, text me when you get home. I want to make sure that you're safe. I want to make sure you're good. There's a difference between I have to text them immediately before I get home, or I'm going to get in trouble, or they're going to be upset with me. It's a thin line, but I want to be real clear about that. Okay. Thank you guys for your comments. We're going to get into the third slide, the third topic. Don't judge me, y'all. It's been a long day. The third topic that you're in a toxic relationship is they are selfish. Everything is always about them. Brianna, can you touch on this for us?
I'm gonna get better with the mute button. Okay, so this idea of selfishness. So Deja, you had touched on this. Like, there's a fine line. Like, someone actually caring and doing it because it's your best interest is at heart, compared to their best interest at heart. So having this idea of they're controlling and they want to be superior in a way or some type of form. So this idea of them being selfish and caring about what they need and their priorities and not about you. Oh, you can't wear that because other people are going to look at you. What are they going to think about me? So I definitely do feel like it goes back to the idea of controlling.
Okay. So Aisha, from your junior perspective, what is something that looks like selfish to you in a relationship?
I feel like anytime a person really talks about what they can get from their partner, but not how their partner can like benefit from that, is a form of selfishness. And honestly, I've seen a lot of times in high school where people will change the way they act because of their partner, and like they just get miserable. So, I feel like if you feel like you're being restrained in your relationship, or you're not being, 100% happy or content with where you are, then that is like 100% toxic.
And you bring up a good point, right? Because I think that when you first start dating someone, it's always considered like the honeymoon phase, or you're always trying to put your best appearance forward, right? When you're first starting to date them. So they might not show you, to be clear, an abuser or anything. They're not going to show you their true colors day one. Okay. That's not how this works. There's a whole bunch of, manipulation and stuff that goes into it. But Travis, what do you think are some signs that you can look for when you feel like the person that you're with might be controlling or selfish? You're muted.
My bad. Signs you can look for. Overbearingness. Say your person wants to look through your phone. They want to know every little detail about what's going on. They are not entitled to that. I know it's common to give your password to the person that you're with and stuff like that. But the truth of the matter is that is your phone. That is your information. That is your life. And you are ultimately the pilot of that. Nobody else should be co-piloting, sitting in the seat beside you, telling you everything that you need to do. And that's another part of it. Controlling your life, your decisions, your passions, the things that you care about. When it becomes their passion, it becomes, say that person is insecure about something that you really enjoy, and all of a sudden you can't do the thing that you're passionate about because the person beside you, is, feeling some type of way about the stuff that you have going on, when that's depriving you of something that you need to fulfill yourself. So, that co-piloting, when they holding the wheel, they trying to steer for you, that's when you're crossing the line.
I thank you so much for that. That's great information. All right, so let's get into the fourth sign that you're in a toxic.
Hey, Deja, real quick, I just wanted to ask one of the high school students, do you all feel, or have you seen where some of these relationships where the person who is kind of being controlled is actually targeted, where you see like somebody will go after certain characteristics that they see in other people and kind of gravitate towards them because they're easier to control. Have you seen any of that? Do you see that in school?
Absolutely. I actually have a personal friend that's more of a timid, shy person. She doesn't really let people into her like space. And so sometimes people try to get in specifically to that space because they know that they're the only person that she talks to. And so they try to be the only, voice of reason in her head. And that's controlling right there, trying to be the only person in that person's life so that what they say is whatever goes.
That's scary. That's really scary. So how, as a friend, and I'm gonna throw this to both Sky and Aisha, but how, as a friend, if you see that, what do you do? How do you step in? Because a lot of times when the significant other is controlling, they've worked some mental manipulation on the person, right? And now all of a sudden they're defensive and they love that person, and they're not going to let you talk bad about that person. So how do you get in and have those types of conversations like, hey, he's being a little too controlling?
Well, I always try to talk to my friend first about these situations because I can't pry or overstep too much because it's not my relationship. But at the same time, I do want to make sure that I'm doing everything I can to, assure that my friend is being treated right. And if I can't get through to her that way, then I will have to somehow like have a conversation with the person who is, being manipulative, because I feel like I really do need to do something about it if I sense a toxic relationship and, something that can be damaging.
Great. Sky?
It's tricky because some of them are stubborn. Like some of my friends are very stubborn. They don't want to listen to me. So I just try to explain to them that this is not normal. Like this is in no way normal. And I know they can't see that because they're in it. But from the outside looking in, they don't deserve that. Nobody deserves that. And it's not okay.
So some of the comments that we've gotten on the chat, and again, you guys, I don't have a username. I have nothing. You're completely anonymous. It literally just texts your comment, but I want to share them. Someone says control only means they love you and they care about you. We'll circle back to that. Somebody else said it's not that deep. We'll also circle back to that. But also someone said to have someone who cares about what I'm doing means a lot when your own family doesn't. So controlling is okay to me.
Wow.
Travis. Actually, you know what, Nicole? I'm sorry. I've been just leaving you hanging. I apologize. Let's talk about how control only means that they love you.
Like you said, there's a difference between being controlling and trying to say I love you in a caring way, like your parents do. Your parents say, okay, just text me when you get in the house if you're coming out to this time of day. But someone said, you better text me. You got to do it. Making it a demand on you. It's not showing that they love you. It's showing that they want to know your every move and every step. And so that's not showing love. That's showing that I want to know what you're doing at this time, at this place, compared to someone saying, I just want to know if you're safe. And so we sometimes we just have to let people know that there's a line where it says someone loves you and says, okay, I want to see how you're doing. But compared to someone said, you better tell me. I think that's where the line is kind of drawn, is that it's not a must. It's like, I love you, so just let me know if you're safe.
All right. So Brianna, I'm going to give you this one. To have someone who cares about what you're doing means a lot when your own family doesn't. So controlling is okay for that person. What kind of advice or suggestions could you give?
So I would say this is a form of isolation as well, because you feel like this is the only person that cares about you. So therefore you are willing to do anything to appease them, and you're okay with this idea of controlling. But at the end of the day, I don't want to say you're losing yourself, but you're losing your autonomy to make your own decisions. Only you know what's best for you. No one else can say or tell you what is best for you in your life. So I would honestly suggest them to speak to a friend, which I feel like is difficult because just as Sky and Aisha said, people are stubborn and they feel like that relationship means something to them. So they don't want to break away from that, especially if they don't have the support of family.
So I apologize for me shaking my head on this camera. I was just triggered when she said the word isolating. So a couple things. If you are triggered by anything we talk about, the 24-hour hotline is 301-731-1203. We also have our victim services coordinator, 240-898-1233. 1652. That's Aaliyah. She can help you. There's also a domestic violence chat line, CCSIMD. Be clear about the isolation thing, right? Remember how I told you before that like your abuser or whatever isn't gonna just show you their abusive cards up front, right?
Right. So there's this idea of the cycle of abuse, which I do go over a lot with different clients. So there is this idea of the honeymoon phase, which is the first cycle, and then something happens. And then, you know, there's that controlling period of maybe it's an argument, a verbal disagreement, maybe it is physical. And then it goes to the apology. I'm sorry, it won't happen again, things along those lines. And you continue that cycle. And just as Sky said, it's difficult to, I think we lost Stasia. But just as Sky stated, it's difficult to kind of see it when you're in it. So it's easier for people on the outside to see it. So sometimes until someone's at that place, to hear someone else say, you know, this is what I'm noticing or this is what I'm seeing. But also for that individual to say, hey, maybe you're right.
Yeah. Now, while we're waiting for my partner to come back, I wanted to touch a little bit on the whole, it's okay if somebody controls you because it kind of means they love you. I think I want to ask, is that something common that you all hear with your friends, that they feel like, oh, he loves me or she loves me, so it's okay? Like, is that something common?
Yeah, I feel like it's definitely something common, especially in the area where I'm at in the school that I go to. I just want to let it be known that control doesn't mean that they love you. It means they love what they can get from you. And a lot of times in high school, especially, a lot of people really just care about themselves and they only care about what they can benefit from a person. And people use that tactic a lot, especially manipulation and gaslighting. So I need people to like know that that mentality is not okay to have because it will just damage somebody else. So yeah.
Aisha, you have been here before because there ain't no way you a sophomore, junior in high school.
I know that's right.
2 eyes. 2 eyes. All right. So I know we're running a little behind. I wanted to get into, did you do the fourth sign yet?
No.
Because I got kicked out. Sorry. All right, let's get into the fourth sign. You're in a toxic relationship. They don't care about your feelings. Let's get into Sky. They don't care about your feelings. Let's talk about that.
When you're in a relationship, I'm sorry.
What is that?
In a relationship, you know, it's your job to communicate with that person, to let each other know what feels good, what you like, what you don't like. And so if they don't care about your feelings, that's just basically telling you that they don't respect you in a relationship. And it's not a relationship that you want to stay in if they don't respect your feelings, if they don't care about your feelings, and if they only care about themselves, because that's selfish.
Facts. I want to remind you guys that you can text your comments. Text Teen Summit 685 to 22333, and I'd be happy to get your comments read. All right, so Travis, can you give a guy's perspective on how like your significant other wouldn't be interested in or doesn't care about your feelings, rather?
Yes. Okay. So what you're saying from a guy's perspective, are we talking about my feelings or her feelings?
Your feelings in your relationship. Like she doesn't care about your feelings.
Okay.
How do you address that with her?
You know, a lot of times as a guy, as a man, it's hard for us to communicate those feelings. It's hard for us to actually speak up and let somebody know when something makes us uncomfortable. We usually take stuff to the chin, and, you know, we might feel things, we might go through things, but we never actually vocalize that because it makes us feel weaker and things like that. But it's super important to communicate, because otherwise, how is somebody going to know what they need to do to help you? You know what I'm saying? A relationship is about caring for one another in many different ways, but it's about caring for one another. So you're making sure that the person that you're with, at least in a good relationship, a nurturing, a healthy relationship, that you all are both trying to take care of each other. So if you have something that's on your heart, that's on your mind, that you really feel like is bothering you, you should vocalize that to give somebody the opportunity to respond to that. You have to state your boundaries. You have to communicate your feelings to even give somebody the opportunity to respond to what's on your heart. So, yeah.
So in the comments, I've got, but what if he leaves you when you say something they don't like? I'm going to get Sky on this one.
if they leave you over something as simple as that, then the relationship was fragile to begin with. It wasn't strong. It wasn't a strong foundation. And you just needed to let it go, because somebody that will leave you over that, they really didn't care about you in the beginning.
True facts. And I'm sorry to reiterate what Sky just said, but the thing is, I get that when you are in this new, amazing, what feels amazing relationship in the moment, you want everything to be perfect. You want it to be, like the honeymoon phase forever, right? But it's not that way. And at the end of the day, you do matter, and your feelings matter. And let me be clear, in relationships, you're going to have rough periods, right? You're going to have disagreements. You're going to have things like that, right? So I'm not saying that all relationships are meant to be perfect. That's not the case. But there's a difference between, I'll give you an example. So my raggedy ex, he's an ex for a reason, but my raggedy ex, when he did something wrong, he would want me to hurry up and just get over it, right? Like, I said, I'm sorry. Like, what? Just get over it, right? Now, if the roles were reversed and I did something wrong, then he would drag it out. And I felt like I had to keep apologizing and things like that so that he could get over it. But I don't know if you guys are following along with me, but I just want to make it very clear. Like, there's being candid and open about your feelings, and then there's somebody just disregarding them. In a relationship, both of your opinions should matter. You both matter equally. So if there's a weird power shift, then we definitely have a problem. All right, Jason, I'm sorry. I've been taking up all your...
No, you're good. I do want to ask one, and I know we about 2 minutes over, or 7 minutes over, but I'm trying to be real quick. But you all seem to have, it's coming from somewhere, this power when you're speaking, and how you're like, I'm not going to be controlled. It's kind of what I'm hearing from you. Where does that come from for you? Where did you learn that? Because it's not just a low self-esteem person who gets controlled or abused. Sometimes it's somebody who feels like they're very strong in every other area of their lives, but then somehow they get caught in this. How are you not being caught in this stuff? How did that happen for? And either one of you can answer that question.
I feel like when you've been through stuff, you kind of really have to sit down, especially in the times that we're in right now with quarantine. Like, we had to really sit down and evaluate the situation that we're in, and really create a perception of the matter that is happening to us. And that, honestly, for me, built up a lot of self-love in myself, because life is too short to really, put yourself behind somebody else. So that's where my voice really comes from and pops out, just loving myself.
I literally can't get enough of you. All
right. I know. Write your book, Aisha. Just write the book.
Real quick, I want to shout out, in our comments, we've got a victim of teen dating abuse who's now 20 years old, but was in a relationship from the age 14 to 17, and it was very abusive and very manipulative. So I want you guys to all know, I can only speak for myself, but there are a lot of us that have been through things. It doesn't seem like you can get out of it when you're in it. But I promise you, from the other side, when you look back at it, you're like, I don't even know how I ended up there. But you're not alone. I say all that. Sorry, Jason, take it away.
That's right. That's good. Let me just say this was great information, and we're going to come back to the panelists. But right now, we're going to have remarks from the Prince George's County Department of Family Services Director, I hope I'm pronouncing the names correctly, Mrs. Ilana Balan Butler, and Prince George's County State Attorney Aisha Braveboy. And please forgive me if I messed up those names. All right. I messed up the names that bad.
You didn't. I promise you didn't. But to remind everyone, if you want to comment,
Hello,
you can
I'm
text
State Attorney Aisha Braveboy. I want to thank the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission, and in particular, the Parks and Recs Department, for hosting another amazing event highlighting teen dating violence. It is so critical that we come together at least once a year to address this very important issue. 1 in 3 teens will experience some form of abuse, whether it's physical, sexual, or emotional, during their teen dating years. We want you to serve as ambassadors to your peers to help protect them against the dangers of violence in any form. We also want you to protect yourselves. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to joining you again next year.
All right. And I think we should have another video that's going to pop up in just a few moments. But while we wait for that, I'm excited to hear what's going to come next. So while we're waiting for that video to pop up, I do want to let you all know that we are going to have a beautiful poem or something. I don't know if it's a poem or not, Aisha, but we're going to have Aisha. She's going to recite something called Perspective. I cannot wait to hear this. And so
Good evening and welcome everyone to the 2022 Virtual Teen Summit. This year's theme is No Excuse for Dating Abuse, Know Your Worth. We are so excited about the fantastic program we have lined up for you tonight. It is with great pride that I address you on this extremely important issue of teen dating violence. As a mother of 2 beautiful daughters, I understand the importance of protecting them and doing everything that I can to make sure that they understand what a healthy relationship looks like and what it doesn't look like. Our young women and men need us as parents, teachers, coaches, extended family members, and mentors to keep them safe and to arm them with as much information as possible so that they can make healthy choices and thrive. Some may wonder, what is teen dating violence? Teen dating violence is violence which includes physical, psychological, verbal, or sexual abuse, harassment or stalking of any person ages 12 to 18 in the context of a past or present romantic or consensual relationship. Teen dating violence comes in many forms and can take place in person, through technology, or online. To break it down even further, here are some potential signs of teen dating violence: excessive jealousy, excessive anger, insecurity, controlling behavior, verbal bullying, pressure to engage in unwanted sexual activity of any kind, moodiness beyond what is normal, one partner constantly monitoring the whereabouts of another, constantly texting to find out the location and activities of the other partner, and one partner consistently blaming the other instead of taking responsibility. Approximately 1 in 11 female and 1 in 14 male high school students report having experienced physical dating violence in the last year. Every year, nearly 1.5 million high school students nationwide experience physical abuse from a dating partner. Many teens end up suffering long-term consequences like eating disorders, promiscuity, alcoholism, misusing tobacco and drugs, depression, anxiety, and exhibiting antisocial behaviors. That is why we are here tonight, so that we can talk about this openly and honestly. We must prevent teen dating violence before it starts, which begins with knowing the signs to look for and familiarizing yourself with teen dating violence. Parents, you can also help by being an example within your own relationships so that our teens are able to see firsthand how they should be treated and how they deserve to be treated. We can provide clear examples of how to foster healthy relationships through avenues of respect, love, and understanding, nonviolence. We also have an obligation to teach our teens how to be emotionally intelligent, knowing how to manage their feelings and how to communicate those feelings in a healthy and a respectful manner. I have always found one of the greatest resources any teen can have is an adult who listens to them, who hears them, and who they can trust and confide in. We must make it a priority to empower our teens by making them aware of the signs of an unhealthy relationship and the steps to get out of one, providing information on safe technology, practices, media literacy, and specific information on what to do if they or someone they know is experiencing abuse. To all of the teens in the audience, please remember your worth, be empowered, and take a stand. Love yourself and know that love is not manipulation. Love is not hurt, love is not stalking, and love is absolutely not abuse. Love is patient, love is kind, and it is not easily angered. Love always protects, it is not self-seeking, and it does not delight in harm. Love is not envy. but it does trust. Thank you to all of our partners. We could not have pulled this evening off without you. And as I end, I am challenging all the adults to do your part by being a positive influence in the lives of our teens. And teens, always remember, acknowledge your own worth. Acknowledge your worth. Thank you so much.
Wow, that was powerful, and I'm here for the Bible verse at the end. I like that, but I also want to say I think it's beautiful when two powerful women, two queens, can show their faces and be part of something like this to give back to the community like that. Even though they have gone on to do what they're doing, they still know that we need to see their faces and hear their voices, and so that's beautiful. All right, Aisha, we are ready to hear my perspective. Come on now.
Hello everyone, I hope everyone is having an amazing time this evening, and I would just like to say that dating abuse is underlined amongst many different forms, from verbal to physical or psychological torment within a relationship. Now, their drug is power, but our antidote is empowerment and a community. Mental health is very important in this time and age, so please put yourself first and give yourself the love you deserve. Self-love and self-worth is the key to your happiness. Now, my name is Aisha Cisse, and I will be reciting my perspective. What do you do when someone you love is in outer space? Floating above the planet, ascending with the stars up above, their world is filled with sways, ignoring the fact that they're now prey, enjoying the feeling of being left astray so they can forget about today. But what about tomorrow? What about all the empty promises when you're happy, all the meaningless hugs when you're sappy, all the hurtful words when you're rapping, and all the times you made me cry? And all the times I did cry and hid. Hid from the world, hid from the truth, hid from you. What would you do when someone you love is in outer space? I feel like they don't want to be there. Maybe they just need an embrace. Well, I need one too. Maybe their urges have been misplaced. Maybe they can't find a substitute. I always wonder what happens in outer space that keeps you away. You've been gone for 2 days and now you're back. I can't ask how your trip was. I don't want to know. I can't ask why you went. You don't want me to know. I know it's not my fault you left, but I always feel guilty, even when you smile and say you're proud of me. Well, I'm proud of you too. So just stay with me so we can make a breakthrough. Thank you.
Yes.
Wow. Aisha, that reminded me of my favorite artist in the world is Janet Jackson, and she has a song called "What About," and and a lot of what you're saying there is what she says in that song. She was in an abusive relationship, and that was just as powerful as what she's done on the stage. So thank you for that. Wow.
All right, so let's keep things moving. Let's get into, I believe we're up to the 5th sign that you're in a toxic relationship. They want you to make them a priority in your life. Ooh, child. Brianna, give me something.
Yes, so they want to make you they want to make them a priority in their life. So this idea that maybe it's something that's missing in their life, so they don't feel like a priority, so they push that onto you. So it goes back to that idea of control, that need for them to feel important.
True story. Sky, what does it look like when they want you to make them a priority?
For example, if somebody is like just coming into your life and they want to be in front of your mom, and if you like believe in any higher power, they actually believe that they are higher than your higher power. They believe that they are more important than your family, all of your friends, and they want you to be all about them and not make any time. And the dangerous part about that is that you end up burning bridges with the people that have been there for the longest if you put them before anybody else, to your own damage.
Nicole, someone in the comments says, doesn't that mean that they love you?
No, it does not mean that they love you if they want you to make them their priority. I had a case recently where a woman assaulted a guy, and they came to court, and he was like, I want to drop it because she can't get a job. I want to drop it because she can't do this. And I'm like, but you got assaulted. You have to think of your life. You have to think about your feelings, how you were injured, how you had to go to the police station and go to the commissioner's office. So no, that does not show that they love you, especially after they do something towards you, and now they're facing the consequence, and they're like, well, you should drop the charges. And we tell our victims all the time, you should take yourself in priority of, especially when you feel that you have been a victim or victimized in any type of assault.
Okay. Sorry, I've got a lot going on with these comments over here. Bear with me. Let's get into the sixth sign, because I need to circle back to some of these comments because they're really, really good, and I need to get these on here. Number 6, it's difficult to communicate with them. Okay, that leads me into one of these comments. But Travis, it's difficult to communicate with them. Talk to me about that.
I mean, it's difficult to communicate with somebody. It can mean a number of things, but one of the biggest parts of that would be that person might have walls up that might need to be broken through, or might not be able to be broken through at all because of different things. That could be trauma, that could be, prior abuse, that could be, all sorts of things that, kind of keep them in a state where they're unable to communicate their emotions. That can stem from their family. That can be a lack of communication in the household. That can be coldness from their parents. That could be not having a relationship with anybody where they feel like they could talk. There's a plethora of reasons that a person might not be able to communicate effectively. And that is a toxic aspect of a relationship. That is 100% something that can keep you from having a good or a prosperous relationship with somebody. So it's important that if somebody does not have those skills, that you're vocal enough to be able to say, hey, we might need to work on this too. That you have that power, that you can change things that, aren't conducive to a healthy relationship.
All right, I'm going to put this one up for grabs because I'm not sure if this is a Nicole, Brianna, Travis question. And Aisha, cover your ears. Sky, maybe cover your ears, put earmuffs on. All right, so they're 17, and I have a girlfriend for 3 years, and she wants to use a fake thing when they have, I don't know what the rules are, what we can say here, when they engage in, adulting, and the person hates it. They say that they're gay. Why do they need a fake situation? Anybody want to take that? Because I tried to be as clean about that as I could. Sorry.
I'll go ahead and take that one. At the end of the day, if you say no, if you've shared your concerns and discomfort for something and the individual does not respect it, that is a form of, it's controlling, and it's a form of abuse. And it definitely sounds like sexual abuse, right, to me.
Okay, now this is not exactly on topic, but I think it's really important, and I'm sure we're going to get to it later, but I don't want to forget. Somebody commented that men get hit. And Travis, I wanted to, actually, no, I'm sorry, Nicole, I want to talk to you because when people are little, that it's always like, you don't put your hands on a girl. That's always kind of what you're told. But also, you should never put your hands on anyone, right? And the assumption is that if I'm going to put my hands on you, you might could put your hands back on me. You know what I'm saying? So how do you, and I know customarily men being abused is not something that we talk about openly because, pride and this and that, that's not something that we just talk about. So what advice can you give to a man that's in this situation?
Yeah, so before I started working in the special victims unit, I did not see a lot of, abuse on men. But, over the last couple of 6 months, I've seen a lot of it. And a lot of men say, well, can we just drop the case? We're good now. And I'm like, no, we cannot drop the case. You are a victim. You got assaulted. The police had to come, or you had to go to the hospital. And so we had to take it seriously. And I tell them, you are a person, and assault is assault on anyone. So it doesn't have a gender. It's if you are assaulted, you can be a male or female. And so the state, doesn't look at gender when someone's assaulted. So I tell them, even though I know that this is difficult for you because you think you are tough and you could take it to the chin, like Travis said, we still have to make sure there's some boundaries set so there's no other attack on you, because one assault can lead to several assaults, and it unfortunately sometimes can lead to someone being murdered. And so we want to make sure we're taking those steps before it leads to that incident. And so if a male retaliates, then they say, well, if I retaliate, you're going to send me to jail. And I'm saying that's why we need to take your assault seriously and make sure that we put boundaries in, or make sure that that person, either a female or male, faces the consequences of them putting their hands or being charged with assault against anyone, regardless of the gender.
And let's be clear, there's a comment in here that says, if a man gets hit, he's gay. Sky, can you take that from me?
Oh, that's very out of pocket. I think a common thing with people is that they associate being, hit or being a victim of something with femininity. And just that does not equate to your masculinity or your femininity, none of that. So that doesn't even equate to your sexuality. So that's way out of the ballpark. Being hit, that makes you a victim. Don't take that lightly. That's not something that's okay at all. Whether you are female, male, whatever you identify as, that is not okay in any circumstance.
That part. Say it loud for the people.
And
in the back.
one thing, Ms. Deja, sometimes males say, I let them hit me because I don't want to go to jail. I let them abuse me because I don't want to be the person behind bars. And so a lot of men are taught to not hit anyone or not to hit a female. And so they're going to take the brunt of the abuse because they don't want to be the ones end up in jail. And so, like you said, that statement right there, being assaulted is not gender particular. So anyone can be hit regardless, and everyone should be taken seriously as a victim when they get hit.
And to be clear, these happen in same-sex relationships just as much as they happen in, in a guy-girl, whatever situation. So let's be real clear about that.
And Deja, I'm sorry. I just wanted to add, and even in the same-sex relationships, especially when it's male and male, but it could also be when it's female and female, they sometimes don't see that as abuse because I'm a dude, you're a dude, and so we just scrapping like dudes might do, but that is also a form of abuse. So I want to make that clear, especially for some of our teenagers who are engaged in same-sex relationships. Any kind of violence that in a relationship is not good. I don't care what the dynamics are. So
full facts.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, of course. Let's get into the seventh sign that you are in a toxic relationship. They never apologize for their mistake. Ooh, child. All right. Aisha, give me something on that one.
Okay, I feel like if someone never apologizes for their mistake, they did not think it was a mistake in the first place, and they do not hold themselves accountable for the situation. And that in itself is hands down a red flag, toxic sign.
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate that. All right, Travis, how do you deal with stuff? What advice would you give to a guy who feels like their significant other never apologizes for their mistake?
Well, first and foremost, that's not good person behavior, regardless. That shows that the person does not respect you enough to think that you're worthy of, repentance, of saying that, I shouldn't have did that, I respect you enough to say and communicate it to you. That person needs to feel that power of, okay, well, I don't need to hear your side. It is what it is, stuff like that. I would say advice-wise, test these things. Testing is not a good habit. It's not a good thing. But when I say you're supposed to communicate your boundaries, you're supposed to tell somebody what is okay, what is not okay. You're supposed to communicate when somebody does make you feel that they don't care, when they should care, and things like that. It gives them the opportunity to respond to that so that they can actually respect your wishes. So I would say communication.
Okay. And Brianna, somebody in the chat said maybe they don't know how. So maybe they don't know how to apologize for something for their mistake. What advice, what suggestions could you give for that?
So the same way that you realize that they don't know how to apologize, you can approach that conversation and, bring it up candidly. Hey, you were wrong, or do you feel like you were wrong in the situation? The thing is open communication. In any healthy relationship, you're able to have these difficult conversations with your significant other. So I would definitely just suggest to make a statement about it, bring it up.
Okay. And also, I apologize, y'all. I'm a little scatterbrained today, but I feel like sometimes I've been in relationships where people you know, obviously we weren't brought up the same, or we came from different backgrounds or whatever. So there's a little bit of showing them what you expect of them, right? So like if I did something wrong, I can apologize and I can explain why I did it, or whatever the case is. That way I'm therefore giving you an example, like this is how you do it, because you might not have the framework on how to get it done. This is how you do it. Before we move on though, I've got another comment that says, my boyfriend slapped me. He did not say sorry, but I knew he was. Sky, I'm going to give you that one. If that's your girlfriend telling you that her boyfriend slapped her and he didn't say sorry, but she knows he is, what advice are you giving her?
I would say, how do you know, first and foremost? And I would give her the advice to actually not ask him for an apology, but let him know that an apology was needed, because just because she feels that way doesn't mean that he meant it. And he should be able to act like an adult and express his feelings towards her. So I say that's
maybe
still
he's not an adult.
Okay, but is he a growing adult, a young, like a forming
Probably.
adult, an older teenager?
Probably.
He's on his way there. He should be acting like he has some sense.
Okay.
Like
So another comment is these answers can get someone hurt. Aisha, I want you to take that one, because I know that it's very easy for adults to say, oh, just do this and love isn't controlling and woo, woo, woo. Like, that's great. But someone who's actually in it, in your age group, what advice would you give someone if they feel like the suggestions that we're giving don't feel like they'll work in their situation?
I feel like because everyone's perception of a situation is different, you really have to like tread lightly when it comes to these situations. So whenever you're being given like information, you know the person better than we know the person. So you really have to be careful with the way you like approach the situation for your own safety and for your well-being.
Facts. And I know we've had these conversations before, but when you're in a situation where your significant other is abusive, whether it's physically, emotionally, verbally, whatever, oftentimes the most dangerous time is when you're getting ready to leave. And I want you to be very, very clear about that, because it's not something that you can just be like, you know what, I'm done. You have to be careful. If you're in a situation like that, you have to be very careful. You have to talk to people. I don't care if it's your girlfriends, your boyfriends, your cousins, your mothers, your aunts, your uncle. I don't care. But you need to talk to somebody, because especially if you live with that person, because getting out can be very difficult. And we're all here, to be clear, we're all here because we don't want you to feel hurt. Sorry. There's another comment coming in, and it says, okay, I'm a mom. Even though this is for the kids, but I'm not going to judge you. I'm a mom, and I'm in an abusive relationship. I've seen my daughter with a bruise. I can handle it, but I don't want her to go through this. I'm not going to put her name out there, because we don't do that. So I am going to, first things first, go to Nicole. How do we handle this situation? And I'm going to let you take that away.
Yes, so I can't give legal advice. I can give some suggestions.
Mm-hmm.
So what I can say is that there are a lot of resources within the Prince George's County community that we have, so people can go to talk to them and try to refer people they know. So one research we do have that I usually talk to my victims about, especially when they're living with their abuser, is the Family Justice Center. It's located in Upper Marlboro. And in that center, it's kind of a one-stop shop. They have counselors. They have people from they have officers there. You're right across the street from the commissioner's office where you can file charges. And so that's a center where I always advise people to go to when they feel that they know someone who's being abused, or them themselves is being abused, and they just don't know what to do next. That's a place where you can get counseling. They can tell you your options about filing a protective order or a peace order or filing charges. So that's one advice I would give to that family, is that, try to do resources like the Family Justice Center in Upper Marlboro and see how they can assist you, and probably get some counseling if that's good. If you don't think your daughter can speak to you and you're seeing the bruises, see if you can reach out to one of her school resource personnel and see if they can talk to her, because they're also considered mandatory reporters. So just to make sure that they have other people who are reporting or seeing these abuse.
Okay, real quick, the 24-hour domestic violence hotline, because somebody asked for it again in the chat, is 301-731-1203. There's also a chat line online if you guys need immediate help as well. That's ccsimd.org. Please keep the comments going. Text Teen Summit 685 to 22333. So This is heavy. Sorry. She's in the comments. It was a mom and a daughter, right? And so the daughter's in the comments saying, "I don't need help. She does." And I want to be, I want to be real sensitive when I say this. It's really hard as a parent to tell your kid not to do something when you yourself are doing something like that. So it's really, Brianna, I'm gonna let you take that because I'm gonna let you take that.
So a lot of the times there's a lot going around about generational curses. I'm gonna say that. So when something starts one place and adolescents and kids.
Someone's in the chat. It is absolutely anonymous. I don't get a name. I don't get anything. Someone just asked me that in the chat. This is absolutely anonymous. Go ahead, Brianna. I'm sorry.
So with this idea of generational curses, adolescents and teenagers, they see these things being portrayed in home. So either they're learning that it's okay or that they can deal with it, and they repeat this cycle. So a lot of the times you need to start somewhere. And sometimes it could be mom getting help, showing that this is not okay, setting that precedent to, reach out, speak to someone. But also that idea of individuals just having someone to talk to, even though they may not want to listen, but making sure that your presence is known, making sure that, if something does come up, you can come to me. You may not want to talk now, but maybe later, you know that I'm here for you.
Thank you so much for that. All right, Sky. What?
Hey, Deja, I'm sorry. I also want to just add kind of where Brianna was going. It's normalized. And when stuff like that, when you see it like that and it becomes normalized, it takes programs like this, events like this. And I think even though the mom and daughter are going through what they're going through, I think it's beautiful. They're both watching this, which means that there's something inside of them that says this is not right, even if it's been normalized in their household. So if nothing else, exposing them to things like this event, I think is a good place to start as well, because it at least says this is not normal. So thank you all for who put this together, but thank you all on the panel, because you are reminding people that this is not normal, and that is so important. So thank you.
And I know it didn't sound like it. I was encouraging with the mom. I know it sounded a little judgy, and I don't mean to be judgy by any means, right? And I want you to get help sincerely, because you shouldn't be going through it, and neither should your daughter, to be clear, right? All right, I have another one. My mom's boyfriend abuses both of us, but she won't do anything. Sky, can you take this one for me, please?
It's the same thing with the generational curse, like they said. Sometimes when, like, parents aren't perfect, they have things that they have gone through, and probably they need this event too as well. I know this is a teen summit, but some people, they still haven't gotten that kind of influence to let them know that that is not normal, and it is not okay for either you nor your mother do not deserve that. And like Miss Nicole said, that there are resources that you can reach out to, because that is not okay.
And also, I want to add, even and if you're not comfortable with the resources, I understand that, but please, obviously, if you don't feel comfortable talking to your mother about the situation, you have to have an adult or someone in your life that is not going to tolerate that, because he's your mom's boyfriend. It's not acceptable for him to put his hands on your mom, but I promise you it's 100% not acceptable for him to put his hands on you. By no stretch of the imagination is that all right. Just being clear. All right. Also, there's a comment that says, I feel like you should never have to defend yourself while in a relationship with your partner. Absolutely, honey. And if that were true, we wouldn't need this. So unfortunately, that's not where we're at. All right, Jason, I'm gonna let you take it away.
All right. For that whole segment was just so powerful, and it's gonna stick with me for a minute. Just hearing those comments. So thank y'all for the comments. Keep them coming. But right now we're gonna have a little bit more singing. We're gonna have Jordan, aka JoJo Nicole. She's going to perform a song, followed by remarks from Chairman of Prince George's County Planning Board and the MNCPPC, Betty Hewlett. So take it away, JoJo. This has been a great night. Powerful.
Greetings, everyone. I'm Elizabeth Hewlett, Chair of the Prince George's County Planning Board of the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission. On behalf of the Commission's Department of Parks and Recreation, welcome to our virtual No Excuse for Dating Abuse Teen Summit. brought to you by our Department of Parks and Recreation's Extreme Teens program, the Office of the Prince George's County Executive, the Prince George's County Department of Family Services, and the Prince George's County Office of Community Relations. February is Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. It is a national effort championed by community leaders and national and local organizations to raise awareness about dating abuse, to promote programs that support the prevention of dating abuse among teens, and to encourage communities to set goals and strategies to decrease the prevalence of dating violence among our young people. According to the Center for Disease Control, 1 in 8 female and 1 in 26 male high school students report having experienced sexual dating violence in the last year alone. 26% of women and 15% of men experienced intimate partner violence for the very first time before the age of 18. Many are reluctant to report or disclose these experiences, and there is a disconnect among most parents because statistics show that 80% of parents believe that their teen has never been subjected to dating violence. So today's program, No Excuse for Dating Abuse, features a panel discussion on the warning signs of dating abuse and how you, our young people, can support one another. We want to make sure that you are prepared and have the necessary skills, resources, and tools to combat negative social environments. Our 6-time National Gold Medal award-winning organization offers many teen programs and resources, such as today's event, to help teens build character, confidence, stronger self-esteem, and an even greater foundation for your future. Our No Excuse for Dating Abuse program is just one of many programs and resources offered that are examples of the Commission's commitment to serving and developing the youth of our community. I'd like to send a special shout out and a hearty thank you to the Department of Parks and Recreation and to Carlotta Wade, Recreational Specialist, for her phenomenal work. Additionally, we want to thank our partners, the Prince George's County Executive's Office, the Prince George's County Department of Family Services, and the Prince George's County Office of Community Relations. Now, to all the young people joining us today, thank you for being that light in our community. Please share what you learned today, because it could be just the thing to save someone's life. Moms, dads, aunties, uncles, villagers, thank you for joining the discussion, because we know it takes a village to ensure that our young people are prepared and ready for life's challenges. Also, we continue to face unprecedented times, and I encourage each of you to mask up, vax up, booster up, stay safe, stay healthy, and remain ever hopeful, because we will get to a better tomorrow together. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Well, listen, I love JoJo singing so much. I was trying to imagine her coming back and singing again. So we don't have JoJo again, but we did love her singing earlier today. I also want to say too, and I don't think we've touched on it, but the pandemic has also, I believe, brought out a lot of this abuse stuff that is coming out, because you spend, especially when everybody was in quarantine, spending so much time with that loved one. You got to see different sides of people. But anyway, I just wanted to thank her for what she just did, Miss Betty Hewlett, and I'm gonna take it back, give it back to you, Deja.
All right, so Aisha, I'm gonna need you to put earmuffs on, and sorry, that's your baby. So this comment says, my boyfriend wants me to perform, I don't know how to say this in a clean way, on him every time they have relations, and when the person says no, he calls them names and says that they don't love him. Brianna, Travis, we haven't heard from you in a minute. Travis, let's talk about this.
That's funny. Yeah, I just want to say 100% that is coercion. That is a form of, I know you all are in a relationship, but almost predatory behavior. and it should not be done. That is, you should never resort to any sort of shaming your partner, insulting your partner, or any sort of those things as a result, as it comes from them not wanting to give you something, especially sexually. So that is a problem that needs to be addressed. And depending on the type of relationship you have, maybe you all can do that communicating and just talk about it and say, look, that's not okay. But that also means if that person does not stop, if that person is not okay with that aspect of what you have to say, what you have to give, that might not be the person for you too. That it has to be respect and consent.
Agreed. I've got another comment and it says, yo, I'm a bruh. My girl better listen to me because I take care of her. Yeah, sometimes I'm rough, but she don't listen. Talk about the bruhs who take ish. Sky, let's talk about this.
I'm not even sure what that comment was supposed to mean, but I feel like it's a lot of toxicity coming from that. Like, oh, I'm the guy in the relationship. She needs to do what I say. No, that's not how relationships work. It's 50-50. If she doesn't want to do something, she doesn't have to do it. It's not like you're the say all, it's not none of that. It's consensual, like he said. Everything should be respectful. And if she doesn't want to do something, please do not force her, because that is not okay.
Brianna?
Okay, so look inward, because at the end of the day, there's what's going on with you that you feel like someone needs to or has to listen to you. That sounds like there's something more going on, and it doesn't have anything to do with your girl, but has to do with you.
Okay. All right, let's move on. We've got a couple more slides. We've got slides 8 and 9. Okay, so 8 is they make you feel guilty when they're in the wrong. Aisha, let's talk about this.
Okay, so that's the perfect example of gaslighting. I feel like a lot of people try to victimize themselves knowing that they are not the ones that was treated wrong in the situation. And that in itself is a big issue because it causes a lot of miscommunication and misconceptions in a relationship and ultimately manipulation. And like that just causes a huge strain on everyone's mental health because, you're just at a standstill in where you're at in your relationship.
So there's another comment. I think I don't know if this is the same person, or if it's in relation to what we talked about my girl better do this. But it also says, then you pay her bills. And I want to talk briefly about financial control, financial abuse, right? Because that's another form of abuse. And there's like this one big umbrella called domestic violence, right? And under this big umbrella of domestic violence are all of these like other things like emotional abuse, sexual abuse, financial abuse, yeah, I don't remember them all. Don't judge me, but you know what I'm saying? So that if someone, you have to be very careful when someone is paying all of your bills or someone is paying everything for you, right? Because essentially you're giving up your control, right? Because they are doing everything, right? So you don't have a whole lot of power in that situation. Nicole, what's some advice you could give to someone that is going through something like that?
I would just say reach out to some of our resources, especially if you think at one point you just want to get out. So we have resources in the community that would say they would try to find you a place to live for a little bit, or they're trying to find you a job. They have job searches for you, so you can start having control over your life, so you won't have to depend on that one person. I know there's a lot of community resources, like the churches in our communities are very helpful. We have a lot of food drives coming up. So once you get to have control over your life, then people won't be saying, well, I can control you by not paying your bill. I can control you by not giving you food. And so I guess once you start getting control your life by getting your own phone, by getting your own food, by having your own job, I think that will help someone say, I don't really need you to control every aspect of my life.
To be honest, or fair, that step, the get your own phone, get your this, that is very hard. It is, when you're in that situation, it sounds so easy when you're not in it. But when you fear your life or you fear your safety, it's not quite so easy as just go out and do it. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, please find a resource that can help you take those really hard steps because you matter, to be clear.
Yes, and everything doesn't happen in one day, for clarity.
Ever.
So it just, nothing happens in one day. So it's going to take time. It's always a process. So I tell people, don't beat yourself up or don't make yourself feel like you are not accomplishing anything if you only were able to get go get a job. It's because every day counts towards your life.
Absolutely. Aisha, earmuffs. Okay, I don't want to be by myself, but I don't like it in the other hole, we'll say. And let's just say, but the other person always wants to. How do we handle something like that, Travis?
Oh, I'm not even muted this time. Okay. That is kind of hard sometimes because I know in a relationship, at times pleasing the other person in a relationship is a major factor. And I heard I don't want to be by myself, as if and I don't know if this is how you meant it, but I'm taking it as, you want to be in a relationship, you don't want to be single.
And if you don't do this, then you'll be single.
Exactly.
Is that how you're taking it? Okay.
Okay, and that is never a good thing, to feel that kind of dependency on somebody or on a relationship at all. You should, try to find a way to be fulfilled in yourself, first. You are just as important as any relationship, as anything that could come from that relationship. And also, I will have to say, there is almost 8 billion people in the world. That one person, when we're in love, when we have intense feelings for each other, it can feel like this is my end all be all. This is only that person, but that's not the truth, and you take from every situation, you learn from every situation, and you move on into your next situation with that, what your experience was from that. So I will say, if you're not comfortable with that, you should be saying, I don't want to do that. It hurts. It's pain. You know what I'm saying? That does not please me, so I want you to respect that about my wishes. So I definitely think it's something you should speak up on, and if he doesn't respect once you speak up on it, that might be, I don't know, it might be raps, I don't know.
So, and also I think, we always talk about women's intuition, but I want you to know, like, men have a sixth sense as well. We don't talk about it so openly, right? But if there's something in your gut that's saying, I'm compromising too much, I'm giving too much, I feel like this isn't equal, or I'm kind of going against things that I would be comfortable, really, there's exploring, right? There's curiosity, there's trying. But if you try it and you don't like it, and you tell the person that you don't like it and they want to keep going back to it, that's problematic, right? And you shouldn't have to lose yourself to please your significant other or the person that you're with, just to be clear. All right.
And I want to just add real quick too. Sometimes we don't realize that what we're dealing with or what we're in is actual abuse, because it's sometimes it's so subtle. So something even like that may just feel like, oh, he or she, that they want to explore, I'm not ready, and you might even think it's cute sometimes or whatever, or that it's expecting it, so then you'll do it and not realizing that they actually just coerce you into doing something you don't want to do. So again, recognizing those subtle signs that these are red flags. It doesn't necessarily mean that this person is going to be all out abusive, but just kind of recognize those subtle signs. I was in a relationship and there was just little subtle signs, and I was ignoring them until one day I was like, wait a minute, I'm actually becoming somebody that I don't even recognize. And thank God, I was older and I had some experiences. I was able to see it and move out of it. But for a minute, I didn't even realize I was in it, and that's scary. So sometimes you gotta recognize those little signs.
Same thing. Like, I was probably a year out from getting out of my, he's now a crappy ex, but I was about a year away from ending things, and my best friend literally had said to me, like, you are the textbook definition of emotional abuse. And I was like, oh, wow. What the hell is that? I had never even thought about it. And when I looked it up, literally it was like a check mark. I was like, damn, yep. And so again, I know we talked about the gaslighting, like, you don't know when they don't just come in your life and start being abusive, right? There's a lot that goes into it. And then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, I know enough about myself. I know right from wrong. How did I end up here? You know what I mean? So yeah. We've all been there, or a lot of us have. I hope you never do. All right. But I've got some comments. Aisha, earmuffs. Sorry.
It's the earmuff section.
Obviously. So the person's boyfriend showed his friends pictures of doing stuff with his eggplant. Now the friends want them to do it, so they did it, and now the boyfriend won't talk to the person, and they don't want to live. Real quick though, before I get comments, there is a 24-hour domestic violence hotline number, 301-731-1203. We also have Aaliyah, who is our victim services coordinator, in the background, 240-898-1652. If you're not comfortable on the phone, I also have an email, thing, ccsimd.org is going to be the chat for that as well. Okay. Sky, I feel like this is no, your child. Nicole, I'm just trying to be real careful. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm not trying to get in trouble over here. Nicole, let's talk about this.
So first off, sending any explicit videos, text message, pictures, it's a crime. And you can face up to 3 years in jail and or a $10,000 fine. And so if anyone is sending pictures of you and you did not consent to it, even if you consent to it, it's still a crime. You cannot be sending explicit videos, pictures of anybody on the web through text messages. So that is a crime. And so that person wants to report it, they can go to the commissioner's office and report that. Second, it sounds like that person is now being trafficked because her boyfriend has now sent the pictures of people. They have asked for her to do it and she has done it. So it sounds like she's a victim of trafficking. And I would just suggest that she really goes first to our resources to make sure her health is okay. And then make sure that she is also getting resources to make sure that she knows this is not okay. Because it seems like she was doing this because her boyfriend wanted her to do it. And now he's mad because she actually did it. And so this is one of the signs is that they don't see anything wrong until they're not the one receiving whatever they asked them to receive. And so at this point, I would just advise her and suggest that this is everything that she's dealing with right now is all criminal acts, and she definitely should get some help.
And what if he promises not to show and shows it anyways, like videos or photos?
It's a crime.
It's still a crime.
It's still a crime. It's still a crime. It's considered misuse of electronics. It's also distributing sex images and distributing sex acts. So it's still a crime. And even she consents to being on video, she didn't consent for him to send it. So she still has, she may just need to go speak to someone at our resources center or the commissioner's office regarding this.
Okay.
Nicole,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask Nicole, and when we're talking about teenagers and minors, then we're also talking about child pornography. Am I correct?
Yes, we are.
Even if it's a teenager doing it to another teenager?
Yeah, it can be. It still can be pornography if it's being sent out in that way, because it's just illegal to be sending out pornography and distributing it. You're not in that industry to be doing that. It's just illegal for any citizen to be sending it out, especially without the consent of the other person. Because she said that she consented to the video, but she did not consent for him to send it out. So it's still a crime, even though they're juvenile. We have juvenile court. It depends on the age. They can be charged as an adult. But just to let people know, consenting to having you tape does not mean consenting to it to be distributed. And if you believe that it's been distributed, you should definitely go to the commissioner's office and report it.
Okay. I had a question. I'm not sure if this is an Aaliyah question or just any Brianna, maybe Nicole. But someone wants to know if they can report domestic violence anonymously. Can one of you guys take that for me?
Yeah. So they can. I'm sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you, but yes, you can report domestic violence anonymously through any of the resources that we did provide earlier through the phone, chat, or you can speak directly to me and you can remain anonymous. Okay. We can still talk about what options there are for you.
Okay, and I'm not sure, Brianna, Nicole, or Aaliyah, which one can take this, but has anyone experienced virtual domestic violence or abuse, especially during the pandemic? And if so, how does that occur?
So I would say it does occur. It can happen. It's the stalking. It's still a form of control. What you can post, what you can't post. Where are you? Those type of things. It's even gone as far as I've had clients who's had their location turned on unknowingly, so that the individual knows where they are. Look, phones are very smart. People are learning how to hack them left and right. So it can happen. And it is something to take seriously, because if someone knows your whereabouts, that escalation. So first they know where you are, then maybe it's verbal, and then maybe it's physical. So just to be aware of that.
Someone's in the comments asking if the other hole is considered against the law.
It's about consent.
Aisha, sorry.
It's about consent. So if you do not agree or do not say yes, is yes. No is no, and yes is yes. So if you do not say yes to having that act done on you, it's a crime. It's considered rape. It's considered sexual assault, and you should report it. But it's all about consent of both parties.
Okay, then I have another possibly legal question. The person's girlfriend bites her lady bits when they're engaging, and the person doesn't want that. How can they make this not happen anymore?
If the person is saying no, there's no consent. So that's a sexual assault. It can be considered rape, and she should report it.
Okay. This is earmuffs. All right. Someone has a rash around their mouth area, and their boyfriend basically is calling them dirty for having it, but they think that the boyfriend gave them something. Is there a way for them to get checked out? That's going to be an Aaliyah or a Nicole or a Brianna question.
No.
Or maybe Travis.
I actually know something about that one.
Please.
But yes, there are places you can get checked out. There's a number of places and tests that can be done. They have blood tests. They have tests where they swab the area. They have tests where they, go in. It's just about reaching out to a medical professional to see what it is. And yes, there are options for you. Whatever it could be or anything like that, there are options for you. So I would definitely suggest getting a medical opinion. And yes, back to the comment about that person shaming you, that should not be done, because things happen. And especially if it is an STD or STI, everybody who is ever engaged in sexual activity has taken that risk for that to happen to them. There shouldn't be a stigma attached to it. These are things that can happen to any one of us that have ever done those things. So even that person that's sitting across from you shaming you, it could be, and it might be that person as well. So just, know that that's not okay either. That person should not be speaking down on you.
Okay, I know we have a video coming up. I just have 2 more comments that I want to get to real quick. There's one that says, Aisha, I'm sorry, earmuffs. What if they only like you because of your nudes, but you love them? Sky, can you give me something on that?
That is love and not lust. Do not fall for it. It is, they just want the pictures. They just want to look at them, do things to them. But if they only want you for your pictures, that is not love. And I get that you love them, but it's time to detach, because that is not okay. It's not healthy for you, and it's not right for you. It's not fair to you for them to only be wanting you for your pictures and you not getting any benefit from it.
That part. Lastly, but what about in terms of even just friendship, emotional abuse? Aaliyah, can you briefly talk about, I know we're talking about specifically in dating, but there are some friendship dynamics that are unhealthy, and sometimes you have to remove people from your life. What would you say to someone who has an abusive friend? You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. So, I would handle it just like you would, with an abusive partner. You can sit down and have a conversation with them and explain to them, there's certain things that you're doing that I'm uncomfortable with. And, I'm not willing to continue the friendship because of those things. It shouldn't be, you shouldn't feel pressured and uncomfortable to have a conversation like that with a friend. But yeah, I would definitely, be upfront, be direct about how you're feeling so that they understand, defend yourself.
Gotcha. I appreciate
that. So
that.
I just wanted to say one thing. So I know we're saying a lot about having these conversations. Sometimes it is difficult to have these conversations. This came up previously. I would say you can also write a letter and give it to them. That is another form of communicating. You're able to, in the moment, having those conversations. It might be difficult for the victim or whomever to actually speak how they're feeling. So to write it down, take the time, that can not only be therapeutic, but it can also get the point across, and it gives you the separation from that person at that time.
Okay. I've got another comment, guys. I'm sorry. I need help. My mom, first of all, the 24-hour domestic violence number is 301-731-1203. Again, before I forget, I need help. My mom believes I deserve what I get when my boyfriend hits me, but I hit him first because he cheated on me. Brianna.
This is a form of abuse. It's a cycle. And it sounds like that it's being pushed by the parent. Because again, the acceptability of what's going on. The person who knows about it is like, no, you deserve this. That is abusive. That, just as the comment says, it's toxic. So I would suggest you to speak to someone else, speak to another trusted adult that you can be free with and who will support you.
And can I say too, it sounds like in that situation that physical abuse or using your hands is a way of communication, because the person said, hey, I hit him first, now he's hitting her, yet they're still in this relationship, and the parent is saying, oh, you getting what you deserve. So it sounds like being physical is almost a way of life for this person, even the parent and the person at the WIC. So understand, it's still abuse, even if it's both of you are doing it, then both of you are abusing each other. So I don't want people to think that because it's mutual, that it's not abuse. It's still abuse, and it's a relationship that you should not be in. So, call a thing, like Ayanna says, and it's still abuse, and it's still not a good type of relationship.
And we do need to get into the ninth sign. I'm sorry, guys. I know I've sidetracked us a bit here. The ninth sign that you're in a toxic relationship is you never seem to get anything right when it comes to them. Ooh, child. That is so real. Nicole, give me something.
Yeah, it's common when people think that, okay, you hit me once, I don't say nothing, you hit me again, I don't do something. The third time you hit me, I report it, and now I'm in the wrong. And so some people take abuse over abuse, and they just don't think anything they're doing. They say, that person would say, I'm sorry, I did something to you, even though they're getting abused. So I would just say, make sure you know what's right and you know what's wrong. Like, there's a lot of common sense and a lot of things that we do on a daily basis. And so just know that whatever you're doing, if you have the conviction that is right and you didn't do nothing wrong, you don't need to apologize. Try not to apologize. It's hard, but try not to apologize for something that you did that was right. When you're communicating, try not to say, I'm sorry, when you didn't do anything. I know it's hard, but just every day at a time, just try to put something in perspective where you know what's right and wrong.
Absolutely. I have a couple comments. I'm not sure who can handle this one, but can I leave now and go? Maybe Aaliyah. Can I leave now and go? Will he know my friend can say? Can I leave now and go? Will he know my friends say we can Uber? So I'm assuming that they're in a bad situation right now. How can they escape right now?
So if they're willing to, get out of the relationship right now, they can actually call the hotline, the 24-hour hotline. We do have services such as like our safe house shelter. So if someone is interested in getting away from their abuser right away, we can actually get them connected to the shelter, and then they would be at an undisclosed location for a period of time where they're able to, figure things out, whether or not, they want to get into some alternative housing or, other support systems, maybe counseling, things like that. So it's definitely possible.
Okay, and the last question is, last year I wanted to kill myself because my boyfriend made me have an abortion and said I would be a bad mom. He hits me and I don't know how to leave. Aaliyah.
Wow. Okay. I'm sorry. Some of the questions are really, shocking to hear, but Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. Last year, I wanted to kill myself because my boyfriend made me have an abortion and said I would be a bad mom. He hits me and I don't know how to leave. So there are a lot of questions there, right? So, and you're going to need some counseling and some therapy. But right now, I need to get you immediate help, which is how can she leave?
Right. So that would be definitely calling into the hotline. So it's a mixture of both mental, physical, and verbal abuse within that. So I would definitely have that individual call in, even if you're not interested in going into the safe house. If you would just want to speak with a counselor and get some more information about what your options are, as far as, you know, what your personal situation is, what you're comfortable with, I would definitely call as soon as you can.
Okay, I have one more. I'm sorry. I know we're supposed to go to a video, but I need these people to get their questions answered, and I need this. So there's another comment that says, I'm a white girl who's 16 dating a black guy who's 19, and he hits me. And my dad said I deserve it because he's black, but apparently the dad hits her as well. Nicole.
So this sounds like child abuse first. And then it also sounds like domestic violence abuse. And so I would just suggest that she goes to one of our resources in the county, especially the Family Justice Center, because it seems like she's either can't leave home because she needs to support her dad. And if she goes to her boyfriend, she can't leave him because she needs support of him. And so I would suggest her going to the Family Justice Center or her reaching out to a supervisor personnel in her school to see how they can help her and assist her as soon as possible.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you guys for all of your comments. Thank you all the panelists for everything. I know we have a video from Dominique Bynum. Let's get into that real quick.
Sharp and seductive, I yearn to feel you in my grasp, to feel you tightly in my grip, to fulfill such a small task. Carry out this deed. Help me with my quest. Lend a hand in fulfilling my needs. With you, I can do my best. Cut your eyes at the sight of me. Be willing to do it all. Be married to my plead. Please hear me when I call. Help me spill this fine wine from the limbs of my home. Aid me in the desires inside, stopping at the bone. Bury yourself in my pleasures. Never stop your job. Aid me in these easy endeavors. My soul you tend to rob. Help, dear creature. Make me the happiest alive. Pay attention to each feature, to leave my body undeprived. The love I have for you is sad. I'm really in love with someone else. I yearn for the love we used to have, and the love I once had for myself. Blows connecting with my skin, stabs attacking my heart. Losing who I was within, while my physical appearance departs. Although your love may be temporary, it helps to ease the pain. I know my baby's love is deadly, but I know I can't complain. What happens when your love runs out? When it can no longer be fleshly? When my inner demon screams so loud because you can no longer help me? Black eyes, broken ribs, bruises all over. Hospital visits that hurt my pride, constantly looking over my shoulder. Love isn't how it's always described. It's a sin to die at the hands of myself. But what if my blood is on his? I'd rather you help me in this quest, because I'd no longer like to live.
Shadows stir at night through a crack in the door. Yeah, goes.
Hello, everyone. This has been an amazing night. First, before I announce who is the visual art contest. We don't really have time to show you the slideshow, but I just want to give a big up and shout out to every youth and teenager out there. I don't know what I would do if I was a teenager in today's time. So thank everybody for their comments. I'm just overwhelmed right now. But the winner of the visual art contest is, her name is Markella Saudias. She is the winner of our contest. We only had 5 entries, but these entries were extremely powerful, and we're so thankful for her. And all of the contestants will receive a prize, but she will receive the grand prize. Thank you, Markella, and we will get back with you to tell you how you can get your prize. Thank you. Deja, Jason, take it away.
All right. So
All right.
there's Jason.
Hey.
Maybe.
How
So
you doing?
while we wait for Jason, though, I just wanted to say, because we actually have closing remarks from Adrian Moore. We'll do that. Assistant Division Chief, Prince George's County Parks and Recreation. Let's get into that video right quick. Or not. Okay, so while we wait, I wanted to, because we have to wrap up by 8:30. It's a very strict clock over here, okay? But I wanted to say thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you to Aisha, who had to have earmuffs on for 90% of my questions. God bless you for bearing with me. Sky, you've been amazing. Travis, thank you so much. Brianna, Nicole, Aaliyah, thank you guys. I want to get you guys back on to give your final comments while we wait for the video. So maybe we're going to go to Carlotta. I'm not really sure. My screen is kind of frozen. So Jason, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can
Okay,
hear
cool.
you. I can see you moving.
So, all right, guys, real quick, before we bring Carlotta back on, Aisha, do you have any last minute comments for our people that are in the chat, for the other panelists? And thank you for being patient with the earmuffs.
Yeah, my earmuffs.
You're muted, Aisha.
Am I still muted?
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Nope. Okay. So maybe we'll
I
just
can
bring
hear you.
back Carlotta so that she can talk about what else. Oh, there's Aisha.
Can you guys hear me now? You're good?
Yes.
But I can't hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear
We
me?
can hear her.
Okay, so I just wanted to say my earmuffs were like headphones. I heard everything loud and clear. But I do want everyone to know that your mental health is extremely, extremely, extremely important. And please take it seriously and be sure to put yourself first in every given situation. And I loved the show tonight. It was great being a part of it. So I will pass it on.
All right. Do we have Sky to give your closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you so much for this opportunity to come on here. Y'all know I'm 18, right? I'm an adult.
No earmuffs needed, right?
But thank you all in the chat and the comments for being so vulnerable. I know some of that was hard to talk about, but thank you so much for helping others that are possibly watching this and helping us give you some advice.
Awesome. Nicole.
It was such an honor to be here tonight. I just want to say you all are making great strides in controlling your life, and I continue to.
Okay, so bear with me, guys. I have no audio. I can't hear you, so we're just gonna wing this. Before I forget, I want to say sincerely, we do this every year, and I'm so blessed to be a part of it every year. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that took time to comment in our chat, because, and more importantly, thank you for being so open and honest. And I know some of the comments that we said were a little growner than years in the past, but I'm so blessed that you guys felt safe enough to ask these questions, because I want to get you answers. I don't want any of you to have to go through any of these things. So if we can avoid it at any cost, that's why we do these things. So I'm going to bring on Carlotta, and she is going to take it away, I think.
Okay, I'm going to say goodnight and thank everyone. The comments really had me emotional, and I think because tonight I'm going to talk to my team and see if we can have a post event where people can maybe come in person and share maybe Brianna, Travis, and Nicole, Sky, and Isa, JV, and Deja can come back and really follow up. These were some really serious questions. I think right now our teens are really in a place that I never thought teens would be in at such a young age. These are definitely adult issues, but I want to say thank you, everybody, my partners, Department of Family Services. I'd like to thank the State's Attorney's Office, and I also would like to thank the Office of the County Executive, and also my team. I could not have done it without all of you. So I'm appreciative. Thank you. Please text your last comments. We will get them. We will send answers out. My email address is carlotta.wade@pgparks.com. Again, it's carlotta.wade@pgparks.com. Please send your questions, comments, any concerns you have, and we'll make sure we can get it to Aaliyah, Nicole, and to everyone that we did not get an opportunity. We did go over, so we didn't get to do everything we wanted to do, but we wanted to make sure that we got everyone's questions answered. Thank you again, and we'll see you next year for the 10th annual. Deja, Jason?
All right. So I'm looking for my partner. I'm not sure if she's back on yet, but did just want to thank all the panelists. Thank everyone. Thank everyone that put this together. Carlotta, you are a superwoman, and everything that you're doing is just so great and is making such an impact. I did want to just acknowledge Deja. I mean, every year that I've done this with Deja, I'm just impressed by her more and more, and I just love her commitment to this and what it really stands for. Thank you to everybody who sent in their comments and were brave enough to express themselves. We really are so appreciative of that, and we're definitely going to look to hopefully have that post event so that we can dig a little bit deeper, give some deeper answers. Please take advantage of those resource numbers that were up on the screen. Here we go right here for the domestic violence hotline, 301-731-1203. Please reach out. We also have Aaliyah Thomas, and her direct number is 240-898-1652. Again, we are here for you, and we definitely want you to continue to post your comments, and we're going to get those answers to you. Once again, thank you for tonight, and we can't wait for the 10th anniversary. It's going to be wonderful, and it's going to be big. But again, speak up, talk to somebody, find somebody, know that it is not normal to be touched or coerced or abused in any way. It's not normal, and talk to somebody and try to get the help that you need. And don't be afraid to talk to those who you know are being abused, and really try to reach out to them in some way that they'll actually hear it. Again, we are thankful for you all and hope you all have a good rest of your night. Thank you.